Okay guys, today we're going to be learning what a chord is and how to tell what the chord is, what the name of it is. I used to use this technique when I used to tutor my college students. I used to do some tutoring for theory, and this is the way I devised to teach it. And to understand a chord, it's really simple. A chord is going to have, basic chord will have at least 3 notes, okay? So we're thinking of 3 notes. Whenever you build a chord, you know that there are only 7 letters in the musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that's it. Then you start over, okay? So there's only 7 letters to deal with. And each one of these letters can be the name of a chord. So if we start with the letter A, we can have an A chord, a B chord, a C chord, and so forth. And that's all there is. Now, if I want to talk about what a C chord is, let's take an easy chord like a C chord. You can take any one of these letters, and whatever you name the chord, you're going to use that letter. So I'm going to take C and put it up here. Okay? And then you're going to skip a letter, because chords are built in what we call thirds. They're built in thirds, so you're skipping a letter. So you take the C, skip a letter, E. So E is the next letter. Skip a letter, G, and then you have the chord. And I can do that with any of these letters. Okay, so here we have a C chord. Alright, C, E, G. You probably knew that already, and I can play it anywhere on the piano, and that's a C chord. Now, let's take another one. Let's take an E chord. Okay, so I'm going to write E. Now, if I want the other 2 notes in the chord, remember I'm going to skip a letter, go to the next one. So here I go. I'm going to write E. Now, skip a letter, and the next one's G. Now I got to start over, right? Because the musical alphabet will start over. So I just skipped the F, went to G. Now I'm going to skip A and go to B. And there's my E chord, okay? So we have a C chord and then an E chord. E minor. All right, I can do that on any chord. Let's do it on a D. So if I take a D, and then, so D, and then skip E, go to F. So D, F, and then I'm going to skip G, go to A. Then I have a D chord. Okay, so I can do any chord like that I want. And then I have that chord, and I can do it on all the letters. So you could call it an A chord or a B chord, C chord, D chord, E, F, G. But any C chord, any E chord, any D chord are going to have these 3 letters. That's those are the ingredients to that chord, if you will. Now you may wonder, let me get my eraser here, about flats and sharps. You say, well, what about, you know, there are different types of C chords, different types of E chords. That is true, but it does not change the name of the chord. Like if I take a C chord, okay, and someone says, you know, a C minor chord. In another video, we'll discuss what makes a chord major or minor. But if I flat the E, that is still a C chord. Yes, it's a C minor, but I know that the letters that are in it are going to be C, E, G. That's a C minor. Without the flat, it's a C major. And if I flat the E, yes, it makes it a minor, but it's still a C, E, G chord. The letters do not change. Now, I could also make that chord a what's called a diminished chord, and I'll discuss this in another video. But and you have C, E flat, G flat. It's a weird sounding chord, huh? It's still a C chord, and the letters are still C, E, G, right? Okay. Now, if I take those away, say, well, what if I sharp the C and say C sharp? Doesn't matter. The letters are still C, E, G, aren't they? C, E, G. It's C sharp, E, G. Yes, but it's still the letters C, E, G, okay? And I can even, let's see, let's sharp, right, that's a diminished chord. Let's sharp the G and say C sharp, E, G sharp. That makes it a minor. I'll explain in another video, minor, major, and all of that. But my point is that the letters do not change in the chord. I can even sharp the E. And if you didn't know this, an E sharp is the same thing as an F natural. So if you play an F on the keyboard, it's the same thing as an E sharp, okay? So C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, not a common chord. A lot of people are afraid of these kind of chords with lots of sharps. But notice it is still the same letters, C, E, G. Okay? So that's my point. You could make chords on all of these. A, C, E, B, D, F. And this is good to memorize. C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, F, A, C, G, B, D. Did I make any mistakes? I don't think so. Okay. This is it. Now, if we build 7th chords and we do 4-note chords, we build on that. We can put flats or sharps anywhere we want to, but the names of the chords, the letters, the ingredients of the chords do not change. An F chord will always have FAC. An E chord will always have EGB, and so forth. Okay, so that's the anatomy of a chord.